agree. I think some teams are going to be heavily disappointed that they're going to get their shot at Bruce Carter. I'll tell you that. Houston.
He can rush the passer. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah, he can definitely rush the passer. So I think they'll put him on the outside, try to develop him into something there. Work with him a bit. And with the injury, I think he'll start on the PUP. I think they'll be able to develop him for a year, strength and weight wise, to get them what they need.
Well, I'm calling Mallet on Washington just because.
Do you think they're going to take that shot on Mallet right here?
I think they have to. I don't think they have any other option. I think
some team's going to wait and take Stanzi later. And I think some team will still see him as a possibility. Hey, maybe they even take him here. Let me see where I ended up having him going in my mock. I ended up taking Angelana, actually, and taking that right tackle. Taking offensive lineman, because I think that's an area they want to address. I'll be interested to see how they use Kerrigan. Some people are saying they might convert him to keep him at D end.
No, he's going to be a linebacker. I am taking Kaepernick in my mock, so.
Yeah, I'm taking Angelana. I think that'd be intriguing. But, I'm trying to run through the needs. I don't think Shanahan's going to take a running back. Wide receiver is still a huge need for them, though.
So, he knew what he wanted, whoever it was.
Yeah.
I don't care what receivers you have, Rex Grossman is throwing.
Can throw hard.
To the other team.
Nice.
With the first pick of 2011 draft, he wants to select Jarvis Jenkins.
There you go. Let's crank that birdie. Oh. I'll crank it. Jarvis Jenkins goes over Daquan Bowers. Did anyone predict that going into this draft, that he would be the first Clemson player selected?
Yeah, no kidding.
Heck, Bowers might be the third Clemson player selected. Who knows? But
and ahead of Marvin Austin, ahead of Stephen Paya.
Yep, Jenkins is pretty stout, and I like him as this 5 technique. I think this tells you that Kerrigan's going to be standing up. I think he can play a little nose tackle for Washington too. It's that versatility, I think it's that versatility that he brings to the table. And when you watch the games, there are some plays where Bowers makes plays because of Jarvis Jenkins eating up 2 blockers and creating some of that space. I have to be honest with that. So I like the player, and not just because I got to dance with him. People can YouTube that. Oh, jeez. I'm arguing with people on Twitter of what Andy Dalton will do. It's always good. So what do you think about the Jenkins pick? You're weary of them taking him over a guy like Paya or Marvin Austin?
No, I mean, I definitely like Paya and Austin better, but Jenkins was very clearly going to go in the second round. So, I mean, it's not a reach or anything. I mean, when Washington picks next, there's not going to be a quarterback. I don't think.
All right, well, we'll see. I think one of the guys might be there in the next round. Maybe Stanzi will be there.
Wait. Oh, excuse me. They do have another pick in this round. That's right. They have 49.
Yeah, they moved down, so maybe that's where they're looking.
They're then still.
So how about Houston? Is this where we see Brooks Reed maybe come off the board?
Boy, I mean, I talked about it yesterday, but I think it bears repeating. The only linebacker they have, I mean, the guy that's by far the top linebacker they have for pass rushing outside linebacker is Connor Barwin, who's never played outside linebacker, 3.5 career sacks, and just missed the past year with a serious knee injury. And he's the best option.
Yeah.
I mean, if they can get a Brooks Reed here, that's great value. Or even a Martez Wilson.
Yeah, I think Martez Wilson or Brooks Reed could be very interesting. Because I think they do have outside linebacker, but at the same point, I still think that secondary is just too terrible. If I was them, I would go with the secondary. I think they may go with linebacker here, and I don't know if there's necessarily a corner that they like, but with the safeties that are still on the board, with Raheem Moore still there, that's probably who I would go with if I was Houston. I know that linebacker depth is going to dry up pretty quickly. That'd be my only fear.
in my final mock, I had him going Brandon Harris, although I had him getting Alden Smith in the first round. So
See, Harris Raheem Moore could be.
I mean, they have Kareem Jackson. They just used a first-round pick on. Glover Quinn he started some games for them. He was a fourth-round pick. Now, I'm not saying these guys are great, but they have something there. They have the cupboard's bare at outside linebacker.
Yeah, I'm not going to mention the lockout. We don't need to talk about it.
Do you know who's a projected starter? Jesse Nadian. And if you're asking who, I say exactly.
They'll move Mario Williams. They'll stand him up if they have to. Aaron Glenn, there's a throwback name. I like Aaron Glenn.
I'll abuse Mario Williams in coverage if you try to stand him up. Aaron Glenn.
Brooks Reed, there you go. Yeah. Well, good.
Right decision.
Good.
Great pick.
I think it is a great pick, and I know you were definitely harping on that. And honestly, the secondary depth probably a little bit better in round 3, so that probably is the right call. How do you think Brooks Reed's going to fit in there with the new Wade Phillips system?
I think he's a good fit. I think it's perfect. Yep. I like it a lot. And you were on the Brooks Reed bandwagon before I was.
Yeah, I had one of my first blog posts for Draft Countdown was about Brooks Reed and Ricky Elmore and how much I like both players and talk about them going to the 3-4, which Brooks Reed did, and I expect Elmore to as well. Just violent player, not overly productive. I think that's the fear, and sometimes he plays so hard he gets hurt, but he's just violent, fast, athletic, uses his hands really well. I was really impressed with what we saw down in Mobile from him. High character guy. He's shy. He's one of these soft-spoken, introverted people, as he kind of talked to me about. But but when he said when he gets on the field, he just completely flips on that switch and wants to be the next Dwight Freeney.
Well, I'll be pretty surprised if the Vikings don't take Daquan Bowers.
You'll be surprised they don't take it. Yeah.
We've talked. They have a history of taking chance on guys with issues, whether it be character, medical, whatnot. And I think if they do get Bowers here, I think that negates some of the flack they took for taking Christian Ponder so early. It basically just, if you want in your mind, flip-flop them. Pretend Bowers was their first pick and Ponder was their second. Either way, they've got they got those two players, and it's a good combo.
Yeah, I think Daquan Bowers. I think Daquan Bowers should be the pick. I think and that smells of Rick Spielman really, and what he did. So I could easily see it. Now, if another option, maybe they could go Raheem Moore. Maybe they could finally address that safety position. I think it's another team that's had a lot of those issues at safety.
Yep.
So that'd be my thing. And, Bus is reminding us, which we talked about in the podcast today, of all the DNs that the Vikings whipped on, Rasmus James, Kenichi Udez. They did get Ray Edwards correct. But that's been Rick Spielman's MO. And you know what? It's been successful. You can't say the Vikings have been a poor franchise consistently. And this is a team that probably should have went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. So, I think Vikings should do it. Let me see if some other possibilities here. Marvin Austin, perhaps?
Yeah, I'd Stephen Paya.
Stephen Paya, sure. I think we'll probably be naming those two guys for like half the picks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Marvin Austin's dropping, and I'm a little surprised because it seemed like the momentum was they used to go in the first round, but I didn't think he deserved to. I mean, there's people he played so well at the East West Shrine, and he worked out so well. People forgot that his tape is so underwhelming. I mean, he's an underachiever.
And Chris Mortensen reporting that Houston actually offered New England a deal to move up to 33 for Brooks Reed.
Oh.
And then New England didn't take it, so.
Good for Houston.
Yeah, good for Houston.
Guy anyways.
Got their man and stayed put. So, yeah, that front seven might be nasty now. Barwin, Reed, Williams, Watt, Smith.
Like they say, sometimes the best deals are the ones you don't make.
Yeah, hey, it worked out for them. Plus, you still have D'Amico Ryans and Brian Cushing in the middle. It's a pretty nasty front seven.
And a really good defensive coordinator in Wade Phillips.
Well, I mean, he's always turned around the teams that he's gone to, and I think this will be no different. I think the offense is good enough. I think Houston. I say it every year. That Houston's a team that can contend, and I get burned every single year if they're going to make the playoffs. But
yeah,
maybe this year.
I think you should be able to get a really good cornerback in round 3. I think Sharice Wright, Brandon Burton, your guy Damon House.
I mean, Burton might go higher with some of his upside. He might go somewhere like the Eagles in round 2. I won't be surprised, but one of those guys is going to be there. Someone's going to fall. Maybe if he goes around 2, then someone like Johnny Patrick falls. It's all kind of a Curtis Marsh, Curtis Brown, 2 guys that are going to go today, I imagine. So there's a lot of corners out there, and safeties. That was.
Well, at the start of the day, I had my top 5 players still available, and only 1 is gone, Akeem Ayers.
Akeem Ayers, so.
And he was number 4 on my top 5 list, so. Still talent out there.
Yeah.
One of them's going here, I think. Whether it be Paya or whether it be, well, I don't know, it might be Austin. They might even go Austin over Paya, go with the upside.
Bowers.
I'm sticking with Bowers, though.
Any shot, maybe a Greg Little or offensive player here? Ponder another weapon?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what they think is going to happen. That's the thing. You just don't know what's going to happen with Sidney Rice.
Yeah.
You don't know, is he a free agent? Is he not?
Yeah, I mean, if they don't think they're going to bring him back, that might not be such a bad choice going with the wideout.
There's something more in that situation, though. The fact that Minnesota was willing to risk it with Sidney Rice.
Mm-hmm.
That either tells me they're concerned about his health, or there's some off-the-field issue, or they're really confident that he's not going to be an unrestricted free agent. Because if they lose him, it's pretty ugly. Percy Harvin plays every other week, and he's questionable the ones he does.
It's true. Let's see. Wow.
Oh.
What do you think about that one, Scott?
Rudy coming to Mini. I like that.
Yeah, he gets.
I've never been a huge fan of Shenko, to be honest.
He was productive with Favre, but to get a more complete tight end like Kyle Rudolph, who, I know you're a little higher on than I am. I think he'll have more of a John Carlson type of role in the NFL, do a little bit of everything, be a nice red zone threat, and help the team more than on the stat sheet, which might be something the Vikings need.
Love it.
Let's see what the chat room's saying. I was kind of ignoring
Great
them.
Value.
Pick one by. Yeah, I think value's solid. Top round 2. About where he should go.
I had him rated as the 21st pick, or the 21st on my overall board.
Overall board. I'm a little bit lower than that, but. All right, let's see. Lions are on the clock. Bruce Carter's gone. That's who I had them taken here.
And I tell you what, nothing helps a young quarterback better than a tight end like Kyle Rudolph. Big targets, got a long wingspan, especially the West Coast offense. It's kind of that short passing game. That's going to be a weapon right there.
Yeah, and look what Pettigrew did for the Lions. They took him this year. They took Stafford. So I think getting something, whether it be an offensive tackle for your QB or a complete tight end that can block and catch. So how about the Lions with their picks in?
Quarterback for linebacker. Brandon Harris, I'm going to say.
You're going to say Brandon Harris here? Take more of the smaller corner. Yeah, I mean, linebacker, I think that value is, that well is kind of dried up pretty quickly here. Maybe Martez Wilson, if that's who they want. But, is there a chance that they do like Daquan Bowers and take him? Because I know there are some rumors of them taking him in round 1.
Yeah, good point. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So those rumors were abound before the draft, and if they just want to, hey, let's get the best defensive line in the league.
Well, and I was told when I was doing my mock draft research that he was one of maybe 2 finalists for the Lions.
Wow.
And although they didn't think Fairley was going to drop that far, or I think Amukamara, but I was told 2 of the finalists were Bowers and Jimmy Smith.
So let's see, chat room saying maybe a corner. Yeah, I think we mentioned that. Any other needs they have out there on offense? I mean, do you think they could go offensive line, maybe wide receiver?
Boy, I mean, they really need a linebacker and they really need a cornerback.
Yeah,